Hey, it's Garth, and I'm back again. Yeah. Today, I want to talk about the uncomfortable edge, stepping out of your comfort zone. Yes, yes, yes. It seems like I do it more often these days than ever before. And I was out cutting the grass and I was thinking, man, man, every time I turn around, I'm doing something that's way out of my zone of comfort. So, as the description says, growth begins where comfort ends. And each day challenge yourself to do something that makes you uncomfortable, whether it's a big thing or a small thing. These daily moments of discomfort unlock resilience, build confidence, and push you towards the fullest potential, your fullest potential, my fullest potential. So I came up with 6 points. Yeah, six. And I'm gonna share them with you. I'm also going to share, my experience with these things. So why does discomfort fuel growth? Well, when you really start to understand how facing a challenge builds mental toughness and adaptability and long term success. I was thinking, and I go back to the transmission a couple weeks ago. We're fixing it. We're changing tires, and the shaft came out of the transmission. The clip that held it in was kind of weak, and it broke. Pulled it apart. Looked at it. All these gears fell out. And I was thinking to myself, holy crap, man. I got to go find another one of these. And my buddy said, it ain't over until we exhaust all possibilities. Let's see if we can put it back together. And we did. And now my view of that piece of equipment has completely changed. It's not, I take good care of it, but now I realize that it's built to be tough and it gave me an anchor. It created something for me, an experience that I can always go back to it. And I was saying to myself today, man, I wish I took pictures of that, of those gears all over the ground, because it only took a $10 clip to put it back together. But I didn't take a photo, so I have the mental picture of it though. So challenges, as much as we don't like to see them at times, they really help us to grow, and they help us to be able to do things that we didn't think was even possible. So that's it. Number two, small steps, big impact. Yeah, small steps, big impact. Simple daily discomforts like striking up a conversation with a stranger or trying something new compound over time into remarkable transformation. I did something today that I hadn't done before. We have these cafes in the trainer scene leader community, and I was a co-lead. It was my first time doing one of those cafes, and it was uncomfortable. Not when I actually did it, but it was uncomfortable thinking about it before and then doing it. There was a part where I kind of lost my spot, and I was really uncomfortable, and I had to find it. Luckily for me, I had a great partner. But after I was done and I got the feedback, the discomfort that I had in my head was like I said, it was in my head because it didn't come across that way. Uh, the more little things you do, the more small steps that you take, the greater the opportunity down the road. You don't realize it at first, because one of the things I shared about was being in the back of the room. You heard me talk about being at the back of the room. But when I got to the front of the room, I didn't exactly have it all together. Didn't know exactly what to say. When I first started spoke in front of the room for the very first time, I almost passed out. Yeah, I don't pass out anymore. I just feel anxious for a second or two, and which is good anyway because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me on my toes. Number three, overcoming the fear barrier. You know, I don't remember exactly when I talked about it. I remember I talked about it, and you know, focus, energy, altering reality was the acronym that I came up for fear. Focus, energy, altering reality. And so I would focus on things so much to the point that I would just create this new story in my head, this new vision of what I think would go wrong. And then one day I realized that all I got to do is lean into the things that I fear and just push into it. Do it anyway. As no one feel the fear and do it anyway. And the more I do that, the more I'm finding that it's not that big of a deal. It's actually causing me to be calm and get to a place where I can think of solutions and alternatives and come up with strategies to get beyond something. And it's almost like going back to, fear of not being good enough, or thinking that, man, if I don't get this together, if I can't get it right, man, it's not going to work. And the reality is everybody starts out someplace. I don't think, the professional that you see was at this level they are at now in the beginning. They had to start somewhere. So that's my thought. Leaning into your fears makes all the difference in the world. It creates strength. Number 4, resilience and confidence muscle. The more you embrace discomfort, the stronger you become. It strengthens your ability, and it gives you the ability to handle stress and to build unshakable confidence. Because once you lean into it, I heard my friend years ago say to this, man, I don't know what I was afraid of. I don't even know what I was thinking. That wasn't that hard. Everything is hard the first time you do it, or at least it appears that way. And then you do it and you realize it's not that as hard as you thought it would. Almost everything I've done. Now, I'm not going to fly a space shuttle, but if I wanted to, I'm sure I would have to be trained on how to do it. And once I got the proper training, I could do it. Most things aren't a space shuttle. Most things are just overcoming the thoughts that are inside your head and just pushing forward and just going for it. So, discomfort is a way to build an unshakable confidence in your life. Number 5, embracing failure as a progress. Learn to reframe setbacks as value of growth lessons rather than roadblocks. I mean, every time I do something, and there's times I think like, man, I failed at that, but I didn't fail. Or as one of my friends would say, fail forward. Tony says that a lot. Fail forward. We make progress in every single thing that we do. And if we take the feedback that we get, we can take that and we can do a constant and never-ending improvement. Make it better the next time. Going back to the transmission, pulling it apart, I did make the decision to take the 12 bolts that held the thing together, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But when I opened it up, everything fell out. I was like, holy crap. And there was all this grass that needed to be cut. And I'm thinking like, man, this is going to be a problem. I was all into, it's going to be like a jungle out here in a month because I can't get this thing fixed. I was all in my head about what was going to be in the future. And the future hadn't come yet. What was present in front of me was I got this pile of gears and stuff laying in front of me. We got to get it back together. We got to figure out how to put it back together. And we did. And it was a valuable lesson. It felt like a setback in the moment because I beat myself up. I said, I should have went and cut the grass before I started working on the equipment. But the truth is I had someone to help me. And if I had done that, I would have had that same challenge later on. And I would have been facing it by myself. And in that moment, when it happened, I had someone who was here to help me because they weren't going to be here forever. So it happened when it was supposed to happen. It was the right time. So embracing failure is progress. I made progress. I got a distinction now from that experience. Number 6, creating a daily discomfort ritual. So, I don't know. Some days I I've got an hour window, and it means I might have to change my clothes to go do something outside and then come back, take a shower and all that stuff. That's uncomfortable for me at times. Be able to fit that in, that schedule, that timeline. Sometimes it's doing taking the extra step, even when I don't feel like doing it, even when I don't know what the outcome is. I had an opportunity to give some feedback and do a testimonial to the instructor that I did the course with last week, Joe Bauer. I didn't exactly have everything the way I wanted it, so I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna just come from the heart and just share, as best as I can, and give that feedback to him, because he was an incredible person. He put his heart and soul into the course he taught us. Some days I write my gratitude every day, but some days I don't feel like doing it. Some days, while I'm doing it, something happens, something breaks, something didn't work, because I send it out using a iOS shortcuts. But I think daily, just sometimes getting up and going to the gym. I got to step out of my comfort zone. Sometimes when I'm at the gym in the mornings, and I got on that machine, and my arms are shaking, and they're vibrating because the weight's so heavy, and I'm thinking, man, if I just do one more, just one more. I just finished up a cleanse. Yesterday was my last day. And I've done this several times. This one was a little bit challenging. First 2-3 days I had a headache. I was detoxing off of the sugar and stuff. And that was really out of my routine. And I stuck it out. Got through it. Started the daily gratitude movement from being uncomfortable. So every day I make it my business to do something that's outside of my comfort zone. Some days I don't know what that's going to be tomorrow. It might be pushing myself that extra couple of minutes just to get something done, figuring out a way, or having a conversation that I didn't particularly want to have, but I needed to have it. Learning something new. That's typically how a lot of times that's where I find myself, my daily discomfort ritual is I'm trying something new. I'm learning a new skill. Because in my head, I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just put it out there. So those are my thoughts for this particular topic. The uncomfortable edge. Grow every day by stepping beyond your comfort zone. And the more I step out of my comfort zone, I visually have a picture in my head where I see boxes. And I started out with these little tiny boxes in the beginning, 20 plus years ago. And I was comfortable in that little box. And then I said, you know what? This one doesn't serve me anymore. And I went into a bigger one. And every time I step out of this box and into another one, I outgrow it. And I got to go into another one and another one and another. My box is getting bigger, and I'm learning more skills. And every day, I seek to step out of my comfort zone and to go beyond my territory, my boundaries, and to try something new and to do something different, because I have something amazing that I want to give the world, particularly through the daily gratitude movement. And that ain't going to happen if I'm playing it safe. So those are my thoughts. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.